welcome to another week of the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade, like mine, but rock, it never does. I'm your host, Gen X Joe, and this week it is a double dose of denim. 2 interviews, 1 week, 0 apologies from me. You may ask yourself, Gen X Joe, where on earth did you find this week's guest? Well, I'll tell you. I found him way out in GOZO, a stunning island that is nestled in the heart of Malta, home of the ancient Megalithic Temples. Yeah, I did. And no, I didn't travel there, but I wish I could. Joining me this week is guitarist of Upper Lip and main songwriter Joseph Azzopardi, a man who says he draws his songwriting inspiration from the magnificent nature of the island and, of course, with a lot of artists, some of their own personal demons. And Joe is here to talk about everything Upper Lip. The band is raw and unfiltered and has that 80s nostalgic metal sound. And the band just dropped their sophomore album called Devil's Ride, and it is proof that these boys from Malta mean business. And listen, if this isn't rock and roll, I don't know what is. I had no clue what time it was in Malta when I scheduled this interview. It was well past midnight, and this man, Joe, he stayed up to give me this interview. My friends, that is dedication. He was probably in his PJs, and, well, I'm not going to kid you. I probably was too in mine. You know, the older you get, the earlier you go to bed. But anyway. But before I go on, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast, Celebrity Events by Lisa Gandia. You can check her out at celebrityeventsrock.com. Let's go from our shining sea to their shining sea over in the Mediterranean. And what sea is it over here on the East Coast? Is it an ocean? I don't know. I'm not good with geography, but I do know it's the Mediterranean out there. Anyway, let's just get into the interview with Joseph Azzopardi of the band Upper Lip here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome, man. Good to see you. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well. A bit tired, but let's do it.
Well, what time of day is it where you're at?
It's midnight. I think where I come from, it's a rare breed, to play in a rock band, and for the band I do everything. For Upper Lip is like my baby, so I don't mind.
Oh, man, that's good to hear. You know, just looking over all the notes and everything about your band, Upper Lip, it originally started as a cover band with classic rock. What was the point that you realized, this project or this band could become something even bigger?
True. We started covering AC/DC and these classic rock bands like Judas Priest, Twisted Sister, maybe some Stones. Um, but the idea wasn't really to be in a cover band. The idea was to get inspiration, kind of learn the chops, not to essentially do the tribute band or tribute act, or just like being a cover act. Because immediately we started with the songwriting. Like in a couple of months, we already have formulated like a proper song. So I would say that was more like more of a learning experience, like getting into covers. Then obviously I realized, and even my friends in the band realized that if you don't do your own music, you're practically just a copycat. So and people will judge you according to the music you do, not how good of a cover artist you are. So and that was the turnover. That's what changed the script. I would say like in a couple of weeks I
Oh,
was
wow.
already scribbling lyrics. I started writing lyrics when I was 16 years old. They were a bit I don't know. I don't know what was going on through my mind, but I was studying English at the time, and I started like learning poetry and stuff like that, and I started scribbling. So yeah, it started quite early. And as I said, that's they kept on revolving. Things kept on evolving slowly as well, and until we got the upper lip that we have today. But it took time to arrive to this stage. A lot of time. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the songs. I mean, we would love to be more to have more recognition, of course, and to put our music more out there. But I think we did produce a very good record, without sounding too bombastic. You know, I think I think it's a fairly decent album.
Oh, it definitely is, and you're the main songwriter behind the band. Now, what is your inspiration for writing the lyrics?
It's mostly life. I know it's a bit cliche, but if I go through experiences, it could be, you know, certain troubles or turmoil that I face or my family faces or people close to me, um, and I channel it through music. I channel all the anxiousness, all the things that go bad. I try to find something good and I turn them into a song. That's how I always wrote music. It's always been like that. A mode to cope with the difficulties of life. So, and these difficulties of life, they never cease to exist. So, I have an inspiration for my whole life, I guess.
Seems like each song on the album paints some type of theme.
Second album, Devil's Ride. There are themes revolving around the church, for example, and I take inspiration from certain real people in the church where I live, where they actually, instead of doing good, they are doing the opposite, and they cause a lot of anguish among people. I also take inspiration from certain people in power who should be, you know, setting an example. I take also an introspective approach, and sometimes I think about the duality of good, bad choices that we make. That's why the album Devil's Ride. Sometimes we choose which path. It's like the Tom and Jerry, you know, the devil and the
I
and
love it.
that's why it's a bit darker themed.
Right, and one of those core themes, is in the song "The Castle." Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost as if, it's like overcoming destructive forces, kind of like what you had just said.
Yes, the castle, it takes an inspiration also from a real human being, and I compare this human being with a kind of like a vampiristic, blood sucking thirsty monster, you know, um, and it speaks about unity, and if people unite, they are able to overcome they're able to overcome these persons who are not are actually like harming other people. So yeah, the castle is about that, and that's why it's a bit, it has like a horror themed, it's a bit, you know, creepy, the song.
Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it originally was intended as kind of an instrumental track, and then you guys just build on it from that. What changed the creativity, after Michael Iverson encouraged you to add lyrics?
Michael, he's like a top music industry guy. He used to organize Sweden Rock Festival, and I was lucky to meet him and befriend him when he used to live in Gozo, and we used to spend hours talking, like until 3 in the morning. I used to go to his place, and we discuss music, we discuss records, we listen to bands whom I never heard before because he has a huge collection of music like Captain Beyond and stuff like that. And then I used to ask him for advice, and I used to send him like demos that we did, and then I told him, listen, I have this song. What do you think of it? And said, it's an instrument. No, don't don't go to the instrumental route. Write lyrics for that. That's a good track. Write lyrics for it. And I obviously I have to like listen to a person. I mean, who is established, who has and the know-how. You know, this guy produced a lot of records. Um, and basically, yeah. I like to take advice from people in the music industry, who know what they're saying. Malta, and I come from the sister island of Malta, which is Gozo, and it feels like we're stuck in a rut. I don't know if you um, can visualize it. I come from a very small island. It's like about 13 kilometers. You know, it's not a big place. And when there's a person like that who organizes one of the biggest festivals in the world, and brings bands, talks to promoters, musicians, whatever, I do listen to these kind of people.
With Michael, and also I'm going to throw out David Vella. He was one of the producers also over at Temple Studios, and I have to ask, what was it like recording in Temple Studios? I know this was probably what, your second time there, and for anybody that doesn't know Temple Studios, I mean that's where Ramstein records their albums.
Yeah, they recorded their biggest selling album there, but there are loads of other artists who recorded there, and even um, actors who come to Malta to do filming over here. They sometimes go there, do voiceovers, in big films, big Hollywood films like Gladiator and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
So, and David, he is like, I think he's one of the most humble people I've ever met. He never boasts or anything. He knows what he's doing. He's like a hermit. He stays there in his studio. He has like a villa studio. No one bothers him. People come from abroad, as you said, record over there. No one knows what's going on. Like a couple of, I think last year there was the keyboardist of Foo Fighter there as well. Like he went there and chatted with him. So, and David, he they call him the guy with the golden ears, because he's able to listen all the nuances. Like if the guitars are out of tune, he will know. He will. When we recorded the first album, there was a small screw in the tom toms, and when the drummer was hitting the tom, tum, he could hear this tiny screw like vibrating inside and I said, there's
Oh
something
wow!
wrong with that, and he opened it.
Oh
he
wow!
he's that kind of person.
Oh, wow. So, what may not be noticeable to, the average ear, he was picking that
No,
right
he
up.
wouldn't know. No.
And with him also working, with you guys on the first album as well. So it was kind of like an unspoken chemistry already, I would imagine.
When we went there, we didn't know what we were doing. Like he was gonna throw us out after 2 days.
Oh no.
We never recorded with a click track. We didn't know what are the ins and outs of recording in a studio. We were pretty much amateurs. Like the second album, the flow was easier. But he said we were like a challenge for him, and then after a couple of days, 2 to 3 days, we got the hang of it now. Oh, okay, you have to play with the click, you have to be tight, you have to get properly tuned guitars. It's not that we don't know how to tune guitars, but you might have a guitar which is perfectly in tune and another guitar which is perfectly in tune, but then when you play them together, they sound a mess, because guitars, because of the frets, and I didn't know these kinds of things. So you learn maybe to use both guitars, or you try to tune them in a different way, and these tricks, you learn them like slowly and gradually.
And I think as you guys go on as well, there'll be more tricks and everything like that. From your home country of Malta, now it has a reputation for underground rock and metal, but many people don't know much about Gazo. What's the music culture like there?
Gozo, there are a few bands who produce their own music. It's quite limited. There are actually more cover bands and than bands which produce their own music. We're practically the only rock band that exists now. I heard there's another rock band forming. In the past, there used to be more rock bands. So, and sometimes we find it even difficult to perform because prejudice, you're too noisy, or you don't play this track, or you don't play Coldplay, or you don't do that, or you don't do this. And sometimes they don't even give you a chance. Not everybody gives you a chance. So there's kind of like this box mentality. And Blood of Rock and Roll, like the first single we released, it's actually speaks a little bit about these situations where I come from, like this prejudice regarding our music, rock music. Yeah, I believe there are many rockers in Gozo, but unfortunately, everybody stays indoors, and it is what it is. But things are, I believe, they are changing now.
Well, hopefully so. I know you said that there's another rock band that's making some noise over and if I'm pronouncing your country wrong, it's Gozo, not Gazo.
Gozo is like Malta is the big country. Gozo is just the smaller island next to Malta.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay, so let me apologize for not pronouncing it right. So,
it's
but
okay. It's okay.
thanks. But when you were first starting out there on the island, though, how did you get your big break, though?
I would say just by writing our own music. That's what defined us from the other bands. And when we were signed with a German label, that was a big achievement for us. You seldomly see a local band, getting signed. And with our debut album, we were signed like immediately. So that meant that we were on the right track. I've never heard of any band which was signed and they played Coldplay or whatever, like covers. Because making your own music makes you distinct. I do give guitar lessons as well, and that's what I try to impart to the students that I have. Do your own thing. Don't bother about what people say. Just keep on doing your own thing, and
That's great advice, and that's with anything in life. And going back to what you said about signing with a German label, I mean, you know what? That had to validate the years of work that you put behind the scenes for the band.
yes, because it's kind of like a stamp that what we're doing is not mediocre. It's not bad. It's actually good. Sometimes we also suffer a little bit from self-esteem. We suffer like inferiority complex because we come from a small island and say, oh, we're not able to produce something good, but we do know how to produce good music. We just need a little break to 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 maybe perform, or get our music more out there. But now with internet, and it's easier than I think it used to be.
I was looking at your numbers on streaming and so forth, and it seems like that they're gradually going up.
Yeah, the issue about streaming, I know it's a good way, but in a way it's also a bad way. You cannot really gauge a band just by looking at the numbers. It's in the past they used to have scouts going to venue and watch bands and maybe give them an opportunity. Nowadays nobody does that anymore. Or if there are scouts, I don't know, I don't for sure they are not present in my island, but maybe in America they still do, like send A&R people looking around. I don't know. um it is what it is, and we have to work with the system now, so it's useless to complain. All I know is that you also need to invest financially in marketing, in promoting yourself, and doing clips on YouTube, on TikTok, on wherever, Instagram. So the band is not just about the music anymore. You kind of have to become also like a kind of influencer.
Right. Yeah.
um, and that's where probably we should work a little bit more on that side, so that we increase our following.
No, I get you. Now, speaking of America, are there any upcoming live shows, touring plans, whether it is in America or maybe in the UK, Italy, anything like that?
we're discussing the possibility of doing a mini tour in the States. We have been dreaming of this for many years. So now with the help of Chip and other people, we're trying to actually set it up after all these years. We will see if it's financially viable, of course. I don't want to sell a kidney just to go to play in in America. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, if we get the funds and we get somebody, a good promoter, maybe we open for a band. I mean, we don't expect that we're going to go and sell arenas, but maybe small venues and opening for certain bands which are bigger than us. That would be super. I mean, we're not thinking really big, you know, just getting the experience out there. Now we're no longer the local rock band. Okay, we try to the music. It's a step up from our local music, so that would be like our next step, and it will mean the words for me because I've been dreaming for this for years, and it will also um, give us like a badge that
Little
we will
badge of
proudly
honor.
display.
So speaking of bands, if you could open for any, it doesn't have to be classic rock, but any band and get a tour of the States, who would that be?
I really love the Foo Fighters. I like
Oh,
the Foo Fighters.
good
I
call,
mean,
Dave Grohl. Nice.
Um, and actually, Rami, the keyboard player, his girlfriend is Maltese. So, but I love the Foo Fighters, of course. I think they are an awesome band, and they sell out shows. Their music is. I buy their records as well. Every time they release a record, I buy the records. I think they're a band that I aspire to be like that one day. You know, like even though they had trouble, they suffered because they had the death of their drummer
Right.
Taylor, and but they kept on going, and that's something that motivates everybody, just not just me. It shows how determined they are, and yeah, that would be a dream come true to open for a band like that.
So Dave Grohl, if you happen to hear this, right here, Joe from Upper Lip in Malta, he wants to tour with you guys. So if someone who has maybe never heard of Upper Lip before, what song from your catalog would you tell them to start with and why?
I would go for a song from the first record, Desert Song, and
Okay, I
also
like
from
it.
the second record, I would go for Blood of Rock and Roll. I think it's the
Yeah,
punchiest track.
yeah, I like that.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a good one. I
and
definitely like
and
that
then
one.
if they want a ballad, they go for Won't You Listen, my favorite track.
So where can they find you at on social media?
So we have our own website first and foremost. It's called upperlipmusic.com. So www.upperlipmusic.com. Then we have our Instagram page, Upper Lip Rocks. Facebook page, Upper Lip. Then we have like the all the other like streaming services like Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. The tracks are there as well.
All right. Well, Joe, you know what? I don't want to keep you up so late, okay?
It's
But I
okay.
want to thank you so much for a wonderful interview, man. It was awesome. And maybe we can do it again if you get over here in the States.
I would love that. That would be super awesome. I would love that.
Awesome. Now I'm going to put a little bug in your ear. Come to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I've been there once in Pennsylvania. I have friends from America, and we went to the Poconos, and it's a nice place
Oh,
over
yeah.
there.
Definitely. I've been to the Poconos. It is really
Uh,
nice. All right, Joe. Well, hey, you go get some sleep, man. Wake up fresh in the morning, and hope you guys, do get that tour over here and get started soon. I'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and for helping promote music all over the world. We appreciate a lot.
Thank you, buddy. You take care. Living after midnight, rocking to the dawn. I better stop because that was really horrible. If you didn't know, Joe had stayed up well past midnight in Malta just to do this interview with me, Gen X Joe, here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Because why? That's what rock and roll is, and that's what dedication is. Now, go check out Upper Lip's new album, Devil's Ride, and follow the band on upperlipmusic.com, and you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify, and wherever else you get your streaming services. These guys definitely deserve a like and a follow. Go stream them right now. Speaking of social media, you could follow me on all social media platforms at Youth Gone Mild PC. That is the Youth Gone Mild PC on all social media platforms. And you know what? I deserve a like and a follow too, and a stream. Yes, I do. If you already haven't, tell a friend, tell a family member. Just get into their account, and if they don't want to do it, and like me, follow me. Please. I'm not begging. Really, I'm not. Anyway, I am Gen X Joe, and like I always say, rock loud, live proud. This has been the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade and rock never does. Peace out. Props everyone for listening.